Hey there, quick note before we dive in. What you're watching right now is a lesson from one of my courses that I've decided to release completely for free here on YouTube so you don't have to pay a dime. So instead of asking you to buy my course, if you want to show your appreciation, here's a couple of things that you can do. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. These small actions tell YouTube to share my content with more people, which is a huge help. Also, feel free to check out my recommended equipment links in the description below. If you do purchase equipment from these links, I do get a small commission at no extra cost to you whatsoever. Or if you want to, you can leave me a super thanks or even just hit play on one of my playlists. I know it sounds silly, but if you just hit play on one of my playlists and let it play in the background, even if you're not paying attention, it tells YouTube, hey, people are watching these videos. I'm going to push it out to more people. So even if you just want to do that, I would love it. I would appreciate it so much. And then lastly, if you're looking for more personalized help, I do offer private coaching that you can find in the description of this video. Either way, I really appreciate you, whether you choose to do one of these things or not. Just by simply watching this video, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Now, let's get to the lesson. All right, so here we are in Adobe Audition, and like I said in the last video, I've generated some tones here with some, higher tones periodically placed throughout the actual audio to give you an example of what dynamic EQ is doing and how we actually use it, and then I'll finally go into some of the audio that I've recorded for a YouTube video and show you how I actually use it on my audio. So first, let's go back to the tones, and let's go ahead and open TDR Nova. Now, remember from all of the other EQ videos, I'm using TDR Nova. It's a free EQ, and you can just download it for free and use it in any DAW that you'd like, which makes this very, very easy. So I'm just going to go over here to bin 1, and I'm going to scroll down to VST3 because it's a third-party plugin. It doesn't come with Adobe Audition. You just have to go download it yourself. I'm going to go to EQ, go to Tokyo Dawn Labs because that's who makes it, and then I'm going to go to TDR Nova. And here we go, and as always, I'm going to set this to out, turn the EQ gain off, and we're ready to rock and roll. So, all right, let's listen to this first before we even do anything. So I'm actually going to close this, and let me give this a play. Okay, now, as always, bit of an extreme example here. These are quite abrasive, but again, extreme examples really help you understand what this stuff is doing. So I'm going to open TDR Nova again, and because I created this tone, I know that this tone is happening at 500 hertz. So if I were to play this with TDR Nova open, it would show you that. So here we go. So you can see this is happening at the higher pitch tone is happening at 500 hertz. So if I know that, all I've got to do now is turn on the dynamic portion of this EQ, which is right here. You see the word threshold. Remember, like I said in the video previously, it's a lot like a compressor. So you have a threshold set on a compressor. So I'm just going to click that, and it turns on the dynamic part of this EQ. So much like a compressor, I'm going to set these up to be and to function like you would with a compressor in a lot of ways. So my threshold, I'm actually just going to take this down to, I don't know, like -12 in that area, And again, a lot of this is by ear. You just got to decide how much you want to take away. And then ratio, I'm going to go to 3:1, which is a little more aggressive, but not crazy. My attack, I'm going to go all the way down to 10 or 0.10 milliseconds. My release, I'm going to go to 100. Again, a lot like the settings I use on a compressor. So what we have to do now is take the frequency all the way to 500, which I could just type that in. It's much easier. So I'm going to do that. 500. And boom, we're ready to go. So now listen to, I'm going to turn off the EQ, and I'm going to let it play, and then I'm going to turn the EQ on and let you hear what it's doing. So this is without the EQ, and then I'm going to turn it on halfway through. So here we go. So you see how with the EQ on, it's taking that 500 hertz tone and it's turning it down slightly. It's not completely getting rid of it, right? We're not taking it away, or else I just would have deleted it in Adobe Audition. So we're just trying to tame that sound just a little bit. We're just trying to tame it and take it out a little bit so it's not so obvious, so it doesn't jump out so aggressively in the audio. So now that we understand, okay, that's what we're trying to do here. Like I said, it's like a multiband compressor. You're just trying to push down a frequency that's jumping out too much, something that maybe you don't like. So, okay, all right, we've done it with tones, but now you're probably thinking, all right, James, how do I really use this thing? So let me go ahead and close this. Let me go over to some audio. And here's some audio that I've recorded for a YouTube video, all right? So let me just go ahead and I'll just highlight a section just to use a section. And then again, I'm going to open TDR Nova, VST3, EQ, Tokyo Dome Labs, TDR Nova, and I'm going to do pretty much the same thing here. The difference is, I'm going to go ahead and set my settings. The difference here is human hearing is really, really sensitive between around 1 to 5K. In this area, human hearing is very, very sensitive. So what can happen in a lot of voiceovers or YouTube videos or whatever you're recording your voice with, it can get a little harsh in this area. Right? It can get a little harsh and it could start to hurt the hearing or start to hurt the person listening to the video. And so we just want to minimize that as much as possible. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the frequency all the way, or let's not use 0.1, let's use 0.3. So I'm going to take the frequency all the way up to 3,000. Here we go. I'm going to take it all the way up to 3,000 because I'm kind of splitting the difference a little bit between 1 and 5. I'm just splitting it a little bit. And again, we're going to do the same settings here, right? We're going to go to about -12. There we go. Ratio is going to be about 3 to 1. Here we go. There we go. Attack all the way down. Release. I'm going to have it do up to about 100. And there we have it. And now, as I play this audio, you're going to notice as it's going through that it's not like with a standard EQ, it's not completely taking these frequencies away for good. It's dynamically taking them away when they become a little too aggressive, when they're jumping out in the mix a little too much or jumping out in the audio a little bit too much. So let me hit play and you can see for yourself. Here we go. Now, this is what all the professionals do in the studio most of the time. And this may not be feasible for you because, 2 microphones can be pretty expensive, especially if you're trying to match the microphone and your main mic. So as you can see, it's not always ducking the audio around 3,000 hertz. Not always, but again, once it becomes a little too aggressive or it's jumping out a little too much, that's when the dynamic EQ is ducking that portion of the audio. Again, I do this just so that it makes it a little easier for people to listen to my videos, again, because when it comes to creating content for YouTube or podcasts or live streams or whatever it may be, you want to make the audio easy for people to listen to. And that's why most of the time on my YouTube channel, my audio is a bit darker than most other people's audio on YouTube because there's that trend where the audio has to be really bright and crispy. Well, the problem with that is people are going to get fatigued over a short amount of time and they're going to stop listening to the video. They may not even understand why they've stopped listening to your video. They may not even get that, like, oh, that's the discomfort that I'm feeling in my ears. That's why I clicked off of that video. But that's your goal, is to make your videos easy to listen to. The audio does need to sound good, obviously. I like darker, warmer sounding audio. That's just my personal preference. But it's easy to listen to. That's the goal. So that's what I'm using Dynamic EQ for. Feel free to go and use it however you'd like. If there's more things that you want to do with it, go for it. That's how I use it. I'll see you in the next one.